Last time, we were continuing our theme, weren't we, of X marks the plot with our pirate... Well, we actually did pirates, didn't we? We did Pirates of the Caribbean. And it went down very well, didn't it?
It is our first five-flame film.
The first one of itself, and probably more to come as well. And so we keep in with the theme, make a little bit of our diversion into a different type of treasure hunt, and set for you, didn't I? The Steven Spielberg Ready Player One.
Who is this Parzival, and how the hell is he winning?
Find him. This isn't just a game. I'm talking about actual life and death stuff.
The Oasis,
the world's most important economic resource.
and this is nothing less than a war for control of the future.
Welcome to the rebellion, Wade.
Like many of you, I only came here to escape. But I found something much bigger than just myself. Are you willing to fight?
Help us save the Oasis.
And there it is, yeah, Ready Player One. Tom, what was the story? What was it all about?
Of this film is essentially, we're in the future. The only real joy people find is entering into a virtual reality game called the Oasis. So it's a virtual universe, you can make your own avatar, and you can essentially do everything you could ever want to do in a virtual world. But the creator of the game, he's died, and he's announced to everyone, I've left an Easter egg in the game. Whoever finds it can have ownership of the Oasis. So there's a contest. People have to find 3 keys to sort of work their way towards the Easter egg. Unfortunately, rich boy, Ben Mendelsohn, he wants to take over the Oasis for himself and for his company, and cue the most pop culture references you're ever going to see in a 140-minute window.
Yes, I quite agree. And we need to say straight away, we're never going to fit all these in at all. That's another video. And it's very, very in keeping with the book. So the book originally written by a chap called Ernest Cline. And he wrote this as, may not be surprised that he is a big fan of Dungeons and Dragons and retro gaming, films, TV, and everything all to do with that. So the film sits very tightly on its original plot, so to find the keys, to get the egg, to own the Oasis, that has not really changed. But certainly this film is if anybody's out there read the book, will know that this is very, very different than the book. I mean, it's almost, I would say, maybe a love letter to the book.
So I've not read the book, but I have heard that it's very different to it.
Yeah.
But interestingly, as I mentioned in the last podcast, this is the first film we're reviewing that I've actually seen in the cinema.
Wow.
So it's kind of a nice little film.
Oh, no, that's nice, isn't it? Yeah.
I can finally say I've seen something in the cinema.
Finally picking films into a certain era that you've actually went to the cinema and went and watched. I like that. Yeah, that's really good. So directed by the man himself, our big man, Steven Spielberg, isn't it? He read this book when it came out many years ago and bought the rights to it straight away. He didn't hang around. He's
done this before, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Because when Jurassic Park, I keep referencing it. I'm sorry, it's my favourite film.
We'll get there. We will get there. I know you're promoting it. But, you want to get, but we will get there.
I should expect royalties from the promotion I do of this film.
Yeah, so he brought up the rights to make the film, but he sat on it for an incredibly long time. And it wasn't until about 2017, before the film came out, that he actually decided to set the project and go. And there's a lot of reasons behind that. Mainly just 2 reasons, really. One, he felt that he says that the special effects weren't up to scratch at that time of getting the rights to it. He knew that needed to be, well in advance than what it was at the time. I think when I heard, having been a fan of the book, as soon as this landed, that there was a hint that this was coming. Yeah, this is going to be really good. I think the only thing that fans were really sort of sitting there thinking in the book is probably a copyright nightmare. Because in the book it mentions everything. I mean, if you can think of every single spaceship there ever has been in a TV episode or a film, it's in the book. The references, every single never mind about the gaming that belongs to many different companies, and to try and probably put that on film, I'd imagine was quite difficult.
A lot of contracts would have needed to be signed.
Yeah.
But, in talking of the complexities of this film, Steven Spielberg has reportedly said that this film was the third hardest movie he's ever made.
I quite believe that.
After Jules and Saving Private Ryan.
Wow. Yeah, so with that, should we dive into this, my man?
Let's go.
You mentioned we're in the future, and we are in the future. We're in the year 2045, not too far away where we are now. And we're in Ohio, America we are. And we're introduced to our technically main character, aren't we? Wade Watts, aren't we?
I suspect there's going to be a bit of confusion throughout this podcast, because Wade Watts is his real life personality, and then he plays an avatar in the reality world, which is called Parzival.
Parzival,
and pretty much everyone has their real world personality and their avatar. So this is probably going to get confusing at some point.
So they do, don't they? So that's like in real life, like a gamer tag, isn't it? Yeah,
it is,
you've got the thing. So you've got lots of people who go into the Oasis to play this game, and they've all got these kind of avatars, haven't they, that they play. And we're introduced to him, of where we are, and we're introduced to what is the stacks. I don't know, you saw right at the beginning of the film. So,
yeah, it's where he lives, and essentially what they are is... for people in Britain, it's static caravans.
Well, they are static caravans, aren't they?
They are.
100%.
People in other places, like America, might call them mobile homes, that sort of thing. But they're essentially just stacked, as the words suggest, on top of each other to make like tower blocks of static caravans.
And they are static caravans, 100%. They aren't American caravans, because I worked on a holiday park for 5 to 6 years, and I know what a caravan looks like. And I tell you now, I recognise some of the makes of those caravans. I'm assuming that it was filmed in Britain at some point, or they were using...
This is an unusual skill set you brought to
I know. A little bit about me you didn't know.
It's a bit of an indication in some bits of this, is the way the world's going. Like, he's sort of coming down the stacks, and you see people in their caravans playing their virtual reality game, and then a drone comes along and delivers, I think it's like Pizza Hut or Domino's.
Proper Pizza Hut.
And it's like, we're getting that way. We are heading that way.
A little drone bringing food, isn't it? But the place doesn't look great. It's we've got a kind of semi-dystopian future, haven't we? It's
designed to make it look like the modern world sucks. Hence why everyone goes to the Oasis.
Maybe there's some foreshadowing of our own life in it somewhere there, that you sit there and think, good Lord, and when we are treated to our first introduction of the Oasis, I can probably see why nobody would want to leave the Oasis, isn't it? He puts on the goggles. He has a little van, doesn't he? He's in the he's in a junkyard, doesn't it, or something?
He's in a scrapyard. He's got this van, but it's all set up for gaming. This is where he goes. This is his space, isn't it?
Yes.
To get away from the stacks where he lives with his aunt and her abusive boyfriend.
Yeah.
Where his bed is a washing machine.
He sleeps on a washing machine, and it's on, isn't it? What a rough night's sleep that is, isn't it?
Like, either it's like a massage chair and it's lovely, or it's just terrible.
Life's not great for young Wade, is it? He's not in that, and so, like you say, he spends his time in the Oasis, and I do love that. I mean, we get a little bit of narration from himself as he's talking about, just basically filling us in on how it works, what his life is. We know that his mother and father are gone, aren't they? And he lives with this kind of crazy aunt that doesn't really want him. Classic Spielberg, isn't it? Let's get rid of the parents. He's an orphan, or he's being foster cared, one or the other. So we're in familiar territory there, aren't we?
You're sort of telling us, obviously interesting that we're reviewing the film now, because he explains that the game Oasis was created by Halliday and Morrow, and it was launched in 2025, and here we are.
We're
sat here. We're still
right
waiting.
Up to date. I'm still waiting for my Oasis. Yeah. So I love when he puts the goggles on. So I don't know if you noticed that the moment he puts them goggles on, it's almost like someone turned on the stereo sound. And I know when I was in the cinema, it was quite awesome. I don't know how you felt when he put the goggles on for the first time.
No, the sounds in the cinema was...
All of a sudden, you've got this, like, choir. And we're treated to, all the different worlds, aren't we? And how big the Oasis is. There's all these different places, like... It's basically anything you can think of...
Is there.
It is there, isn't it? And they even mentioned, don't you, if you want to climb Mount Everest with Batman, you can.
You can do so.
And there he is, pulling someone up. Random.
It's weird. And you learn that you go through different... things. You can collect coins and artifacts, you can level up your gear and equipment for your character, but if you die in the game, you lose everything, you go back to the beginning, and obviously this causes some people distress.
Yes, because you get this montage, didn't you, of bad parents, don't you? And sort of thing, who are just so engrossed.
Ignoring their kids.
Is there a woman, isn't she? And the kitchen's on fire or something, isn't it? When she's too busy on the machine, isn't she? And
then she falls
the kid
over
is
the
like literally
sofa
tapping the
and-
shoulder, going, "Mum, like the kitchen is on fire," And she's like, "Hold on a minute, I'm fighting here, I'm doing whatever," and then there's an Asian chap in there who an office block who just decides.
Oh gosh, yes.
Yeah.
He loses.
He loses all his coins. He gets shot, doesn't he?
Yeah, and he goes to jump out the window of the office block and has to be tackled.
He opens the window and he's gonna literally kill himself. I mean,
it was.
oh, no.
But
No,
that scene was just to show you like the scale of how seriously people take it.
We're getting the idea that people are absolutely invested in this. This is their lives. It's really weird, isn't it? Because you see them, they're in some kind of like centre point, like a hub, aren't they? And
where everyone's sort of like spawns before, don't they?
And there's little gateways, isn't there, to go to different things, which in the book there's a gateway that you can go to different planets and different things. It's like in the book, I think there's a weird educational planet, like then it's like, it sounds like it's basically like a planet school, like, which is a bit boring.
Nobody goes there.
Yeah.
We come on to learn that Halliday, the creator or co-creator of the game, he's the sole owner because he bought out Morrow shares. He's died, but he left a message saying, "I've put an Easter egg in the Oasis. You have to find it. There's a contest. Part of the contest, you have to get these 3 keys, and it leads you to the next key, so on. And the person who's the first one to get the Easter egg will inherit the ownership of the Oasis," which I'm pretty sure I heard this correctly. They said was worth about $500 billion. Everything revolves around the Oasis globally. I don't think there's anything truly of this scale in the real world to sort of fully explain how vast this thing is.
But you can see that from the state of the world. The world is in tatters, really, outside. You get the CEO, don't you, which is played, Sorrento, isn't it? The chap,
Nolan
isn't it?
Sorrento.
Nolan Sorrento, isn't it? Yeah.
Now, he runs innovative online industries, which is, I find, an ironic name because Nolan, as we learn from the film, has got no innovation or imagination whatsoever. He's not a smart guy.
And it's played out with the very grey interiors and I think it's supposed to portray that, isn't it? That we are a hard corporate company that has no ideas. We just literally want to make... I think they even say in it, they say, we've got this new thing that is coming out that people will use, and it now takes up, was it something like 90% of your visual field?
Yes. I made notes of this as well.
I was like, it's like, good Lord, you can't even see anything.
So it's literally my next note. So he's all about making money and corporation, that sort of thing. And he basically says, we can run 80% of the visual field of the players in advertisements before they get, before we start inducing seizures. So it's like, how have you tested this?
Yeah.
And so what this company have done, IOI, they're called for short, is they have a load of employers called Sixers who
they call them the Sixers, don't they?
Yeah, they play the game to try and find these Easter eggs. They have people in labour camps to do virtual reality work for them. So this first challenge, what we learn through the ongoing narration... There's a lot of narration in the start of this film.
There is quite a lot of narration, I must admit. I think they need to go, we need to get this going. We need to
explain. There's a lot of story to tell, and it is a bit of a... Yeah. It's a lot to take on, there's a lot of information being thrown into your face and your ears. And
so, I know where you're coming to. You're coming to the first key.
The first challenge.
Where they're explaining how... What is the first key, which is effectively in this film is a race, isn't it?
It is a
race to the end. This race is not in the book at all.
Is it not?
Not at all, no.
Oh,
this is absolutely unique to the film. I think it's the best part of the film. It's...
Spoiler alert for everyone's favourite scene.
Oh.
It probably is the best part of the film.
Yeah.
Because you get this is where you really start to get your pop culture references being thrown in.
I'm trying not to get the... I'm going to say now, as you mentioned, you're a big Jurassic Park fan. Well, I'm a big Back to the Future fan. So,
you are.
Yeah,
You've mentioned that to me many times.
Right, many times. And outside of this podcast, I will make it known to everyone how much I love those films and everything about them. So I was like a small child with sweets and getting really excited I was when I sat in the cinema for this because I'd not seen any trailers for it, hardly at all. So I was absolutely in delight when he throws his keychain down on the floor, doesn't he? And we are given the DeLorean. We are. He has to start at the back, though, doesn't he? Because he doesn't have a lot of fuel, so he doesn't get to...
Yeah, he has to pick up coins on the way
Yeah.
to fuel his vehicle. Then obviously I got my little fix from Jurassic Park of the T-Rex turns up in the race trying to destroy the cars, and then King Kong comes along. This opening of this film is so fantastic.
It was to be sat in a cinema, a lot older, and I sat and watched it with my children. I took my son and my daughter to go and watch it, and we were blown away. It's got one of the most coolest things in it I've ever seen. Right, where the truck, there's a oil truck that slides across the road, and I think it trims out 2 cars, and it takes the roof off them, and they explode into coins.
Yeah.
And he presses the button and changes the DeLorean into hover conversion, drops it to the floor so it's lower, and then slides underneath, and then opens up the door and collects the coins. And you just go,
that was a cool shot.
As he comes, the camera follows him behind. There's some kind of swinging ball, isn't there, that's trying to take him out. He then flips it up, the wheels fold back in, and he handbrake turns around the ball and then heads off. And you just go, good Lord, that is exciting. I haven't been excited like that for a long time. That is amazing. And I've got that off my chest now.
You've done well.
Yeah, I had to get that. All right, end of podcast. That's the end. We're done now.
He gets the end of the race though, doesn't he?
And it's clear that this race can't be won. It's almost impossible, isn't it? And no one ever they even mentioned no one ever gets past Kong, do they?
Yeah, that is the final bit. So what Parzival does, he goes to what's called the Halliday Journals, and it's like a visual library of Halliday's life. It's like a collection of his memories, sort of put into like a video format. It's run by an avatar called the Curator. Parzival goes back to a scene where you see Halliday and Morrow, 2 creators, are having a bit of an argument, and he's focusing on all that. He's trying to find clues. That's what he utilises this library for, to try and find clues to learn all he can about Halliday, to figure out how he can get past this first challenge.
He's the only one really sort of believing that there's a different solution to this problem.
People just keep doing the same stuff every day to try and get further. Because
Batman and Robin didn't do very well on it, did they, on the race? They literally just tip off the edge of that bridge. They're gone.
End of them. And he's determined to learn all he can because he knows there's going to be clues on how to do it. And he's watching this scene of the 2 of them argue. And Halliday references in the argument about them going backwards.
Yeah,
and his desire to go backwards, and that their progression is making the game not what it was meant to be. And that gets Parzival thinking.
And this is what's great, I think, that you don't know what's going on. Even his friends don't know what's going on.
He hasn't told anyone, because he's not entirely sure, I don't think.
Because Artemis, she's got a bike back, hasn't she? Because it got crushed, didn't it, or something? Yeah. And H just repaired it in his workshop, which I love when H introduces him. He said, "This is my workshop. Touch nothing." Which I can really relate to that as a man who owns a man cave, Yeah, so they don't really know what he's up to, do they? So he's he
sticks his old DeLorean into reverse and seemingly driving towards a wall, but at the last second the road sort of drops down as a ramp, and he ends up driving under the race course. So he's avoiding a secret track, the chaos. There's a track perfectly laid out for him. He avoids everything, and he pops up behind Kong, and he just crosses that finish line. And it's like
really good. I think as he's going underneath, you get Kong, doesn't he? He's smashing on what is the road above him, but it's really close to him. And I remember watching it in somewhere, and I thought, he's quite scary. It's quite a scary. That's really, really scary. I mean, the relative my family that won't watch that because they're scared of King Kong. They know who they are.
They know who they are.
They don't like King Kong at all. Like, they were petrified at this. I mean, we just still need to watch it. It's a good film. I love that when he puts it into reverse, we then get, because when we had the race at the beginning, when they had a first go at it, we got no soundtrack. I don't know if you noticed. There's absolutely no motion soundtrack in the background. There isn't. There's only the noise of the crashing, the motor cars and everything, the engine noises and everything like that. However, though, when he realises he needs to reverse, we then suddenly get the orchestral soundtrack kicks in. It does that, and we get this roaring sound of like, he knows exactly what he's doing. He's getting you going with it. Because you're getting excited for what is going to be at the end of this. And what is at the end of it? He gets the key, doesn't he?
He does. So he gets the fountain, which is the finishing line, and that's when Halliday's avatar, Anorak the All-Knowing, and with that, there's a leaderboard that's sort of sat above the Oasis, which has always been 0, and he suddenly goes on it. He's number 1 player because he's got the key.
Yeah.
He gets a load of money, and then he tells his friend, and then he goes on a bit of a shopping trip, doesn't he?
Some of the stuff you get the holy hand grenade, don't you?
Yeah,
from
Python.
Monty Python's Holy Grail, which is great, isn't it? Yeah. And you get the Zemeckis cube, don't you, as well? Which, if you know that Robert Zemeckis, obviously director of Back to the Future, so you think, oh well, these are going to. It's basically a Rubik's cube, isn't it?
It's from this point on where film slowed down a little bit, and I think it lost some of its spark.
Oh dear! Right.
Obviously, the opening was so fantastic. All the stuff going on, the race and the race and what's going on. We spend a fair bit of time in the library, so we've got to learn a bit more about what's going on. The curator gives him all of his coin, which is just 1/4.
So he gets 1/4. We might be seeing that later on, somehow or another.
I find it's quite slow. The film really slows down.
Yeah, and we're treated to some weird antics and things, aren't we, and stuff. We meet a character called IROC, don't we?
He's like a virtual reality henchman.
So he's basically IROC is like a hired thug, isn't he, or a hired hand that's gonna. He doesn't care. He's just gonna do it for money. A lot of it. In fact, even he turns around and says something on the lines of like, "Oh, I'll do it for 4," and then Sorrento goes, "Fine, agreed." And he went, "Oh, I mean, if I knew that, I would have said 5 or 6. I mean, is it still open for negotiation? He said I went in there a bit low. So you get the idea that he's not the most intelligent being. He certainly gives off the impression, certainly by how the voice is acted out, isn't it, and everything, and really well done, that I believe that he is someone like a 35-year-old man in his mother's basement with like tons of computers and a real like strong cable setting in it, and he's just in between being in the Oasis, he's arguing about, I don't know, the latest casting for the latest Star Trek film, isn't it? Isn't it? It's disagreement, and everything. It reminds me of the comic book guy from Simpsons, isn't it? Back at H's workshop, isn't he? He's trying to decide what he's going to wear because they're going to go to this this nightclub because he feels that Halliday never liked the nightclub, or he hated the place.
They thought the issue was because the whole clue is sort of the leap not taken, and they think that was because Kira wanted to dance, and so they went to the movies for the day instead. So they thought they had to dance. They've gone to this club that was created as part of it, and then obviously they said, well, it was a creator who hates his creation. He didn't like the nightclub that he made in it, so they're on the wrong lines.
But I do like the nightclub scene. I know it feels forced in there, but because it's like they clearly wanted to do the nightclub, didn't they?
Yeah, they wanted to get the dance references in there. Yeah, but again, like you said, it felt forced. It didn't feel.
I liked it as a scene. I did. I thought it was quite good, and I like the music to it, and I like that little moment. I think Artemis, she as a character, sort of comes out a little bit more in this. I think as a character we learn a little bit more about her by that time.
We get to learn a bit more about her. We don't see her as this sort of mysterious figure anymore. We see a bit more of her personality comes out. So they do head to the location of The Shining, which is it's a set build, and it's an impressive record.
Yeah, so it's really weird. It opens up, doesn't it? They've got like a video, haven't they? Or a video cassette, haven't they? They have to pick it out like it was like a video shop. And he said, "Are you sure you want to do this?" Obviously, and he picks that out, doesn't he? And that allows them to go into that film, don't they? Which is fine, which is quite good. And I mean, it was really weird. And I'll say this because when I sat in the cinema, my 2 children, who weren't young at the time, but they weren't kiddies, like little, they didn't know what that was. They had no idea, no concept of what The Shining was. But it was completely lost on them. Yeah.
I think that's the key, is this film is very targeted, and if you don't...
Yeah.
If you're not very into your pop culture, or you've not seen everything...
If you have not seen that film, that is lost on you completely. Yeah. I mean, when they walked through and they walked down the stairs into the main room, didn't they, where the fireplace is, that's unbelievable. Yeah. That is phenomenal special effects. I mean, I honestly looked at it and I couldn't work out, have they actually built it or is it not real? I mean, if you do some digging around, you'll find out it's a combination of both, isn't it? But apparently it was painstakingly put together, wasn't it? From the actual film to make it look absolutely real.
But because the film is so targeted, you can lose people very quickly if they don't know what's going on. And I think that's sort of, like I said, with your kids, The Shining was completely lost on them.
Completely. They had no idea.
When people get lost on something, they lose interest.
Yeah, and you go, I don't get this. I don't understand what this reference is. Luckily enough, it kind of keeps it moving along. You've got a horror aspect, haven't you, and everything that comes with it.
Yeah, they
we
managed to
get
keep it
horrible, scabby old woman, don't we, in the thing with who sort of tries it on with H and then ends up like trying to bite his head off or something. We have some big axes, don't we, like sort of coming in, and there's this weird montage of H trying to run away, isn't there? And even I was surprised when I sat and watched it. I thought, The Shining? Oh, I thought, would have probably picked maybe a different film, maybe. I don't know.
Something more universally.
Yeah, I mean, you got Spielberg. You can pick any of his films, couldn't you? You could pick E.T. if you wanted to, innit? Yeah. Everyone would have known exactly what that was, and stuff. There you go. There's some ideas. Already rewriting it.
While this is all going on, Wade, in his real life form, ends up meeting Samantha in her real life form.
Yeah.
At essentially their rebel base.
It is. It's like a little base, isn't it? And you've got like a weird bald-headed man with a tattoo, isn't it? Who at first we think he's a bad guy, but he's not. He's actually he's a
nice guy.
Yeah, he's all right. And we know he's all right because he's going to go to the market and get some fresh veg, isn't he? Sort of thing when you see him.
They make that quite clear.
And then they get rid of him or dispatch him.
But essentially, IOI have figured out who Wade actually is. So everyone's met each other in real life now. Everyone's happy.
Yeah.
And then IOI come along and destroy that and attack the base. They manage to arrest everyone except Wade. He escapes. Samantha sort of stays behind to delay them. We're now sort of got these two worlds going on of all these sort of parallel characters. Figure out quickly the next challenge because they learn that IOI have already worked out what the final challenge is.
Yeah, we've got a lot of stuff going on, haven't we, towards the end here, I noticed, and I almost like missed some of it because there was so much happening.
It's weird. I find almost the pacing of this is kind of off because the first challenge we're straight in there.
Yeah,
we get it done and dusted.
But the key word there is challenge, wasn't it? I felt the race was a challenge.
Yeah,
it was a long-term hurdle to get overcome because it had been going on for so long, and then like a lot of films have done this and storytelling has done this, we need to move the story on, so we find that the second and third go is quite easy.
And I think this is where it sort of gets a bit iffy with the pacing because we don't spend very much time on the second challenge. It becomes a big focus of the film, but in the grand scheme of things it's not a lot of time. And then we don't even the third challenge they just write off as IOI have already figured it out. So
I did find that when I watched it. I didn't realise. I kind of almost looked down while I was writing my notes, and then I looked up and they were playing the game. Or they're playing the console game, which is over a load of ice, isn't it? Which is in a big fortress, and then
on the planet of Doom.
On the planet of Doom, right? So, and then we've got a lot to sort of take on here. IROC has got this kind of globe, hasn't he? That's going to put a force field.
The orb of Ossivox.
Yeah, he's got this giant globe that's going to put over the top of it, so nobody can get through. Which again is fairly clever. While they try and play this game and work out. One thing as well we didn't mention is the IOI, isn't it? Yeah, they have a whole group of nerds and all in little grey suits, all sitting in a nice white, perfect little place hid away that are literally feeding all the ideas. They're looking through all the pop culture, aren't they? They're looking for all the ideas and everything. It's got the most over-exaggerated facial look I've ever seen in a film. There's a girl there with ginger hair, and when they're deciding what cartridge, aren't they? They're trying to work out what game. They try Adventure, don't they? And then they try Centipede, or they try all these different Atari games, and then out of nowhere the camera just zooms into her face, right? And I know our listeners can't see me stroking my chin, but like basically sounds a bit odd, doesn't it? But basically she just does this sort of movement and then just sort of rubs her chin like that and goes as if to say, I wonder. And then we cut from it.
It was quite cheesy, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was like, all right.
Obviously you've dropped a bit of a bomb in there as well about Atari. So the final challenge is the Atari 2600, 2600, however you want to say it. And that's the next challenge. So what they have to do is try and figure out which game they've got to play to be able to get the final key. When Parzival was speaking to Nolan, which is a bit earlier on in the film, because Nolan was trying to persuade Parzival to look, work with me here and I'll give you a ton of money. Trying to bribe him, it doesn't work. What Parzival notices is that Nolan, in his ongoing incompetence, has his password sticky noted to his rig.
I kind of like that though.
I mean, I like it.
I mean, he's old like I am, and I have to write everything down. I can't remember any passwords or anything.
Is his password is Bossman69, and it's like, oh my god,
It's on a postage note, isn't it? Stuck on the side of this big rig, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
It's not even printed or anything,
no, it's
is
just
it?
handwritten. And I think that's when you realise Nolan's an idiot. Parzival then does his big speech, doesn't he?
Yeah, he then calls out to everybody, doesn't he? He does a
live stream,
a live stream saying, and we need to stop this, and we need to do this. I think H goes and gets the Iron Giant, doesn't he? And everybody's sort of basically paused and waiting to see what will happen. While he's giving the speech out, and then we get like a montage in the real world, don't we, of Parzival giving it big about what's going on. You see people in the real life stop what they're doing, and they've got like visors on, haven't they? And the headphone visors kit.
Yeah.
But they're like walking in the streets and like
yes, it's
like shopping. I mean, I can't text and walk at the same time. I can't.
I know.
You've seen me walk into a lamppost, but like I just sat there and thought, and there's like people having lunch. Well, why would you have any company? Like, because you've both got headsets on, and
It's really
unless
weird.
you're. What can you see? I didn't understand the rules. You know,
It's like an exaggeration, isn't it? To make it look like this is all everybody does wherever.
Yeah,
they
everyone
go.
just lives with these things stuck on their heads. You know, all the time. Maybe
It's kind of weird.
I suppose it is kind of right. If you think about how we use mobile phones now, we have them in our pockets. As soon as we sit on a bus, as soon as we sit at a doctor's surgery or somewhere where we have
Straight
to
away.
wait, out, hand in pocket, we're straight out. So maybe it's that kind of thing. You can see through it. Which you can see that the visor you're able to see through it. People just wear them all the time, and then any opportunity they get,
Straight back into the Oasis.
so they're sitting there having coffee. I'm in. I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna log on, and I'm going in because there's people fighting in the street, isn't it? Which we'll come to.
Yes, that comes a little bit later because basically Parzival's speech works, and everybody joins him to fight.
And we get
Sorrento.
everyone.
I mean, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles turn up, Halo turns up.
We get this massive clash of two sides, don't we? In a
because-
full-on war, isn't it? Yeah.
Samantha as her avatar to deactivate the shield.
Yes.
Which means they can all get in it. It just turns into this massive...
I kind of like it.
battlefield.
I think it's quite good. There's a quite good little bit of, and certainly he's riding his DeLorean back through, and it's like smashing through, and she ends up through the windscreen, doesn't she? And,
Oh, yeah.
And they're sort of going through their arsenal of itinerary, aren't they? And then they're literally using gun after gun after gun after gun, which I don't know all of them, but I'm sure there is like literally everything from anything from there.
H then sacrifices herself because she forms a bridge as the Iron Giant. Because the mines
Yeah.
that were being laid have been used to detonate the bridge to the castle.
This, we get what we say, we're getting this big battle, aren't we? But I find it drops off a cliff every time we go back. When we go to the real world, I feel, and I did feel that in the cinema. When I watched it in the cinema, I felt a little bit of almost like a shoulder drop, like, oh, we're back in the van.
Which I suppose is in fitting with the film, isn't it? Real life sucks. And
And you sort of go, oh, we're back in the van. And yeah, I get it, because you've got two things going on, aren't there? They're in the back of the van. The van is trying to get away from the real life bad guys, isn't it, who are trying to track them down.
But interestingly, what they find out is that because the IOI avatar, he plays to win, and he wins, thinking he's just done it, and then he gets killed because winning adventure was not actually the point. And this is what he sort of explains was that.
And this is a massive pop culture that my generation totally understand. Again, we get back to that thing of like maybe lost on a lot of people. I mean, it is explained, isn't it? It's explained that it's one of the first ever, and it was one of the first ever Easter eggs that was put in a game. The game owner put his own little name in there, and that nobody knew. And it was, you've got to remember, this is pre-internet, pre-phones, pre-anything. It was done by word of mouth. Someone would say, do you know there's like a secret? It was just done by, I don't know, newspaper, magazine, maybe? I don't know.
Obviously, I mentioned earlier on that the curator gave Parzival a quarter, didn't he?
Yeah, so he had it.
So Parzival then turns back up exactly where he was by the Atari 2600, and he reaches into his pocket and finds that quarter and flips it over, and it says extra life. So then he plays Adventure, and that gets streamed across the whole world, essentially.
Yeah, they're all watching it. Even our little geeks and nerds are all poised
cheering
and
him on,
watching.
aren't they?
Yeah, everyone's poised and ready to see, is he going to do this? How's it going to work?
he does it.
Yeah.
He finds the Easter egg, and that was the point of it. And then he goes into this next scene, so he's now been accepted. He meets Anorak, the all-knowing,
There he is.
who
again.
offers him a contract saying, if you sign this contract, you will have sole ownership of the Oasis.
Mm.
And he refuses,
Yeah.
because he references saying, you bought out Morrow, your partner, and that was the worst mistake you ever made. You lost your friend. So no, I'm not going to sign it. And Anorak's just like,
Is
I
the
had to check.
is the right answer?
It is like
yeah. But the thing being is that there are absolute parallels to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory here, isn't
Yeah.
there? Because if you know the story of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, like a lot of people grew up learning about, is that Charlie, he's been taking an everlasting gobstop, and he has to make sure he has to give it to what is the competition, isn't it? And it's a secret that Mr. Willy Wonka didn't want anyone to know about. And so what he does before he leaves, he puts the little gobstopper on the side, like as if to say, like, "Oh no, I'm not going to do that," which means his morals and everything. And then it becomes that kind of thing, a bit like this, doesn't it? That he didn't sign. It's the kind of true faith and test of character, isn't it? And I love that moment when he turns around and says to him that there's like a big red button on the wall, isn't there? That is like basically this shuts down the Oasis, wipes everything out, like, and there's no backup. There is literally nothing. It's all yours. And I think because they're being chased in the real world, aren't they, in the van, he ends up like falling forward, doesn't he? And I kind of like that moment, because in the cinema I remember you think, God, good Lord, that was close. And he literally goes banged and he puts his hand up against the wall and like just misses it within that. And I think Ron's character, that he turns around and says, let's try not to turn off the whole Oasis on your first day, doesn't he? Really calmly.
He does. Ron's character of Halliday sort of then ends up digging around his room, because he doesn't seem to know where he's put the Easter egg, does he?
No.
And he pulls it out, and it is literally a giant
It's a proper egg, isn't it?
It's
The
a glowing egg,
Yeah.
and gives it to Parzival and then leaves. Because they stop the van in real life.
So we've got a lot of real life stuff going on at the same time, and we end up back in the stacks, don't we? And we've got like an angry mob, and but basically everybody all ends up in the same place, don't they? In real life, Sorrento opens the back doors, doesn't he? And it's too late. He's got the egg, and he's lost it.
But he's kind of captivated by it, isn't he?
I know.
He's got Ben Mendelsohn. He's such a good actor.
Yeah.
And he does that little smile when he sees that Wade has got the egg, because in his sort of VR reality, his gloves
it's glowing, isn't it? So he knows now he's got it. He's won.
And he's almost smiling, because I think he's sort of accepting that somebody did it.
Almost like he was going to turn around and go, "Well done." You know,
it
wasn't
like
it?
that.
You would think that was what was going to come out of his mouth, wasn't it? It was like, "Well done, you deserve it."
Instead, what did come out was "You're Nick Sunshine" by the police officers, because
because they did some bad things.
They did some questionable things, so they ended up getting nicked. But
for murder.
but then Morrow shows up. Simon Pegg is an old man.
Yeah, so then we get everybody turning up, don't we? We get
lawyers
and stuff. One thing we do have, obviously, everybody's cheering, aren't they? Everybody's very happy that Parzival has won and got through the day, and everyone's waving banners and stuff. I don't know if you've noticed with Parzival. I mean that's pretty good going. I mean that's fast. I mean I can draw. I can draw and paint. I can quite quickly, but to do some corporate branding and get it all out there. I mean, they're literally in that van for 3 minutes, and then they come out and we've got banners, we've got well done, Parzival. I mean, yeah, there's some woman there with a cardboard with a felt tip pen on. Yeah, I get that one. But there's some real proper good stuff, symbols and stuff and that. I mean,
some people have put effort into.
Yeah, you think, God. I mean, did they sort of sit there and go, hold on, they're coming out of the van. Oh, right, where's that flag? What do you mean you can't find the paint? And they would have got that together. Anyway, big celebrations and that. I have trouble with the end of this.
Oh, good one.
Yeah, so I'm gonna put it out there. And I don't like doing it. I feel uncomfortable because I've kind of enjoyed the film. But like I mentioned before, I don't like the real world stuff. I find it a bit naff. Simon Pegg's character, I love Simon Pegg in other films. I think he's quite a good actor, and it's not that American accent that he's putting on. I can't stand it. He just he starts talking, and I'm just feeling horrible about it all, and I don't even know why he's there. I would rather have had him turn up later, or I don't know, maybe turn up at the journals, go back into the Oasis, and then it's a reveal at the end that, oh, by the way. Because that's what it is, Morrow, isn't he? That he's the actual little android butler chap in the journals, isn't he?
Yeah.
Who gave him the coin, isn't it? You know. But even then, as he's walking off, he's still doing this accent, and I kind of felt myself at the end. You're still talking. Go away. Go away. I don't like you. You know.
It's kind of weird because obviously the human aspects and the VR element to this film are obviously naturally meant to go side by side, but it doesn't really work. But it does translate into the film in the sense that...
But the film even feels like that.
You get to the human bits and it's like...
Yeah.
So
Simon Pegg character, I'm not a fan. Sorry. No, I don't like it. Yeah, I don't like him as a character. You know, we don't do worst character, but if I could, it'd be him.
Crikey.
I know. And it's a shame because I don't understand why they had to do the American accent. Well,
the film.
That's it, mate. Yeah, we've wrapped
He's
up.
now
Wow.
ownership of the Oasis.
Well, yeah, there you go. I would say that Ready Player One, there it is, in its entirety. I went into this, I have a lot of admiration for this film. I do like it. So let's get that off. I'll get that off my chest first. I do like it. There's no doubt about it. But there's a lack of character growth in this, I think there is. You're going to get that with a book. You can't compare it to the book because books always go deep.
They got more time, haven't they, to explore?
Yeah.
I think the problem is with this, why there's a lack of character growth, is purely because we spend so much time with their avatars. The humans don't have that time in the film dedicated to them to be able to grow. And when we do have that, it's so fast forwarded to allow us to get back to the story in the virtual reality world. It takes it away. And
I still think Spielberg did quite well at putting it together. I just think maybe, just maybe, it was a tough challenge to bring it to screen.
it's weird because I think the directing on it is on point. The acting is fantastic. Everyone does a really good job.
Yeah.
So I was happy to go back and rewatch it. I felt, despite all the references and all that, it lacked the magic.
Weird, isn't it? Yeah. And see, going back to this, I've looked at this in different eyes. You do look at it in a slightly different way, and the whole point of our podcast, isn't it, is that we take this stuff which I watched when I was in cinema. You went and watched it at the cinema, didn't you? We basically look back on it and go, you know, what is it all about? Is it still as good as what we, you know? Is it still a good film, or did we watch it through rose-tinted glasses?
Or even on perhaps another scale, was it not very good at the time, but now we look back at it and we actually got a better
It swayed the other way, yeah. And actually, do you know what we said? Unfortunately, I hate to say, this one didn't quite quench my thirst this time round.
No.
Yeah.
Favourite scene? I think it's going to be the race at the start, isn't it? That race was just so chaotic and so many references literally just popping up here, there and everywhere. You're getting to know these characters. That was just...
Yeah,
really
I mean, I'll jump on board with that because I've got it written down here. The race for the first key, I've got it written. Yeah, I haven't wrote anything else because it's. I would say, regardless of what I think of this film, one of my favourite scenes in the film, in a film. I think just so exciting, and watching it in cinema, awesome. Let's get to the official Burning Cinema Flame rating. As we know, 5-0. Dare I ask, through the tone of this podcast, where we're going with this, what you got for us, Tom?
For me, and I've literally only just changed my mind on it,
Oh,
it's a 3.
it's a 3, is it? Yeah.
So initially, when I was watching it and doing my notes, I thought this is probably about a 4. But then having sort of sat and talked about this even more, I've changed my mind and gone down to 3. It's a good film.
I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm the same as yourself. I wanted it to be a 5. I know that sounds really high, but I so badly wanted it to be a 5. And you're going to be gobsmacked at this, right? So I then started skirting around a 4, but I went for a 3. I did, yeah, because I realised that actually why do I like this film is because of potentially 3 to 4 scenes in it. Not the film itself. I actually only like the race, the nightclub, and a handful of little moments, you know, that I go, oh, they're quite good. It's almost like a greatest hits of pop culture that I'm exploring.
It's almost
you know?
like we're trying to like it because it's got all the references and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and so the race, like we said before, I mean, that's one of my favourite scenes. It's probably up there. I would say I'm probably a good top 5 of favourite call it action scenes or scenes in general that are in films of this type. I hit it low. I did lower, and I said I think it's a 3. I do, and that's where I sit there. So there you go. So, yeah.
3 flames.
I know. Feels a bit sad, doesn't it?
It feels a bit sad, but what we've got to take into picture is that's actually still a good film.
I mean, we came off a high with Pirates of the Caribbean, didn't we? Last time,
that
didn't
was...
we were a little...
That was something.
We were right at the top there, didn't we? And then we've sort of fizzled down a little bit with this, where we've just gone, yeah, not quite as good as I remember it, as I say. But then again, like you said... Still a good film.
It is still a good film, I think.
And fun to watch. Cool. So that was Ready Player One. And so we flip back to yourself, Tom, that you're going to... What have you got me? I mean, I'm poised.
So, I'm going to take treasure hunting into... I mean, at the time it was a bit more the modern world. But back into the real world. Nicolas Cage starring in National Treasure.
Benjamin Franklin Gates, you are undertaking the duty of the family Gates to find the most spectacular treasure in history. It grew throughout the ages and moved across continents until it was hidden by America's founding fathers, who left clues to the treasure's location right before our eyes. The unfinished pyramid, the all-seeing eye, are telling us something. Keeping this treasure safe, Benjamin, is your destiny.
Oh, National Treasure. Oh, wow. I haven't seen this for a long time.
I've not seen it for a while.
A long, long time. We've gone to the past, we've gone to the future. We're now sort of going to the semi-past, but not quite more modern day. Yeah,
it's sort of like modern
day treasure hunters.
More realistic, perhaps, approach.
Cool, excellent.
Let's see what it brings.
Excellent.
See if we like it, I suppose.
Yeah, I know. Of that. Well, there you go, people. So that's what we've got for a next episode. As I say, you can find us on YouTube. Click a like. Subscribe to our channel. We need it. We need the views. We need the people, and that keeps us going and keeps us sane anyway. At least anyway. And we'll join you next time for a bit of National Treasure. Anyway, so it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.
And remember, you can follow us on our YouTube channel with new episodes every other Monday.